Shalom, everybody. Hallelujah. Bahasham Yashawai Warawak Hakwadash. Amen. This is Mayakal Yis-RoyAl from the 12 tribes of Israel, Yis-RoyAl, specifically from the tribe of Levi, Laoya. Hope you all are having a Shalom day. Much ahaba to all of y'all. Much love. Alright, today we're still in the 29th day of the 6th month, in the 3rd semester of summer. We have Feast of Trumpets in about 2 or 3 more days necessarily, and 2 more days at night. We're continuing on in part 2 of our video, mastering the Hebraic calendar, the Feast of Trumpets, the feast and festivals and all that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and begin. If you want to, grab a paper so you can take notes and things like that. And let's begin. We're starting off with Proverbs chapter 8 verse 22 through 36. Yahweh created me at the beginning of his work, the first of his acts of old. Ages ago I was set up at the first, before the beginning of the world. When there was no depths I was brought forth, when there was no springs abounding with water. And before the mountains were shaped, and before the hills, I was brought forth, before the earth was made with its fields, and the first dust of the world. When preparing the heavens, I decreed the circle for the face of the sea, and strengthened the clouds above, and made strong the fountains of the deep. I set the sea's limits, that the waters will not transgress my command, and decreed the foundations of earth. I was by him as the architect, which is Yeshua speaking, and I was his delight day by day, rejoicing always at the sight, rejoicing at the world and the earth, delighting in the sons of mankind. Listen, children, blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not ignore it. Blessed is the person who listens, watching day by day at my gates, portals, and openings, waiting at the post of the door. For he who finds it finds me, and finds life, and gets accepted by Yahweh, Ahaya. But he who wanders from my ways wrongs his own soul, and he is an enemy who desires the realm of not the living, the dead. In Exodus chapter 23 verse 20 through 21. 23:20. I have sent an angel before you to guard you on the way, which is Yeshua. The Father has sent us an angel, if not Yeshua himself sending us an angel, to lead you to the place established. Take heed of his presence, and listen to his voice, and do not provoke him, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is on him. Yahshua. Judges chapter 2 verse 1. The angel Yahweh, or the angel Yahweh, or Yahshua, came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I have taken you up out of Egypt, and brought you to this land that I swore to your fathers, promising that I will not break the covenant. In Judges chapter 2 verse 12. But you forsook Yahweh, Alahayim, which is Christ, and the Holy Triune, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But you forsook Yahweh, the God of your fathers, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And you departed to follow after other gods, the gods of the people around you, and bowing down to them and provoking Yahweh, Alahayim, Yahweh, Alahayim, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Yahshua, to anger. So you provoked the Most High to anger, bowing down to other gods and forsaking the Most High. Numbers chapter 20 verse 16. We called to Yahweh, and he heard our voices, and he sent the angel that brought us forth out of Egypt. So it's the Father sending his angel to free us, to go to Kadash, holy, a city at the end of the border. In Genesis chapter 48 verse 15 through 16, he blessed Joseph's sons and said, May the God Alahayim, before whom my fathers Abraham, Isaak walked, the God that fed me continuously to this day, the angel, the messenger, Hamalak, that redeemed me from all evil. Bless the boys, and let your name be proclaimed by them, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahshua. And may the names of my fathers, Abraham, Abraham, and Isaac, increase abundantly in the midst of the earth. So as you know, only 3 stars, Markab, Shiet, or Sechit or Shiet, and Al-Janib, and constellation Pegasus were called the stars of Iyah, which mean Yah the Father, Yahweh the Father, by the Sumerians. And these 3 stars brought in the new year. The Sumerian priests would observe constellation Pegasus each day as spring approached, and anxiously wait for the heliacal rising of the 3rd star called the Iku star, which completed the square of constellation Pegasus. On March 16th, the Iku star, which is now called Al-Janib, Iku is IKU, appears to flicker as it moves above and below the east-northeast horizon, just before sunrise, showing that this day is the spring equinox day and the last day of the year. On March 17th, the IKU star, Al-Janib, sits on the east-northeast horizon and is steadily visible just before sunrise, and was the sign that the new year had begun. And this day was called Nisanu, like Nisan. Nisanu, Nisanu. The Akitu festival, Akitu. The Akitu festival marked the new year and was celebrated from Nisanu 1 to Nisanu 12, with rituals, prayers, and offerings every day, and the creation of the world story. Inuma Elish was recited on Nisanu. The Akitu festival rituals also depicted the affirmation and enthronement of Iyah, Alulim, Ya Elohim, Yahweh Alahayam, as king and priest. The Sumerian Akitu festival was a semi-annual festival celebrated at the beginning of spring and at the beginning of autumn, and every year for 12 days. These 12 days were later included in the pagan religions and celebrated in winter, and are now known as the 12 days of Christ's massacre, Christmas. The biblical Moses, Masha, taught the Israelites the forgotten Akitu festivals, and Yahweh used the Passover and Exodus events to ensure that the Israelites would never forget the time of the new year, as the Egyptian New Year began in midsummer, at the time the Nile River began its annual flood. The Sumerian texts also say that Yahweh the Father, was the one who created humanity, and that Yahweh the Father, was the one who saved humanity from extinction. When he saved Noah, Utu napistim, that's what they call Noah. That's spelled Utunapishtim. Napishtim, and others in the great flood. Atrahasis, tablet 3. So Atrahasis, Noah and his descendant Abraham were priests of Yahweh. And Abram called Yah, the king of truth, Melchizedek, and the king of peace, Melchizedek. After Abraham returned from rescuing his nephew Lot and others who were taken captive, and brought them back with many possessions, Abraham went to make a thanksgiving offering to Yahweh of bread and wine. and to present a tenth of what he brought back is where tithes come from. So in the book of Jubilees, chapter 13, verse 23, verse 25 through 25, and they took captive Sodom and Adam and Zeboim, and they took captive Lot also, the son of Abram's brother, and all his possessions, and they went to Dan. And one who had escaped came and told Abram that his brother's son had been taken captive, and Abram armed his household servants. For Abram and for his seed, a tenth of the first fruits to the Most High, Yahweh. And Yahweh ordained it as an ordinance forever, that they should give it to the priests who serve before him, that they should possess it forever. So in Genesis chapter 14, verse 18 through 20, and he went to the Melchizedek and king of Salem, of peace, and brought out bread and wine, as he was a priest of the Most High Alahayom. And he blessed him, and he said, Abram was blessed by the Most High Alahayom, the creator of heaven and earth. And I blessed the Most High Alahayom, who delivered my enemies into my hands, and he gave me a tenth. Zechariah chapter 8 verse 19. Thus saith Yahweh Yahweh of hosts, the fast of the 4th month, and the fast of the 1st month, and the fast of the 7th, and the fast of the 10th shall be with Judea joy and gladness and cheerful meetings. Therefore love truth and peace. So Ahaba Amath wa Shalom. That was in Zechariah chapter 8 verse 19. So in Psalms chapter 31 verse 5, and to your hands I commit my spirit. Redeem me, Yahweh, Ahaya, Alahayam, Amath, God of truth. So in the book of Jasher chapter 12 verse 38, and Abram said to them, do not bow down to me, but bow down to the God of the world, Alahayam, who made you, and serve him, and go in his ways, for it is he who delivered me from out of this fire, and it is he who created the souls and spirits of all men, and formed man in his mother's womb, wisdom, the universe, the matrix, and brought him forth into the world. And it is he who will deliver those who trust in him from all pain. Now, as for the moon, its main function is to regulate the waters of the earth every day, and to oxygenate the waters for life to exist. As the moon revolves around the earth, it pulls the waters towards it, thus stirring up all the oceans and seas, so that they do not stagnate. The moon has 4 appointed times, each day to make the tides low, twice a day, and to make the tides to make the tides high, twice a day, and to make the tides low, twice a day. And this is what the psalm was talking about. The moon knows when to make the tides high and low, just like the sun knows when to rise and set. So in Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 35, thus saith Yahweh, Ahaya, which gave the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and stars for a light by night, that stir up the seas by waves and turbulence. Yahweh, Ahaya of hosts is his name. Yahweh Tazabah is his name. So in Psalms chapter 104 verse 19, the moon was made for appointed times, and the sun knows when to go down. When the sun, moon, and earth are in conjunction, on the dark moon, the new moon, and on the full moon, the sun has an added effect on the tides, making the high tides and low tides the highest, called spring tides. So, making the high tides and low tides the highest. At the half moon marks, the moon pulls the least, making the high tides and low tides the lowest, called neap tides. Or twice a day. And whatchamacallit, and it takes 7 days, which is 1 week, to go from one cycle of the moon to the next cycle of the moon. And in between those cycles, like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 out of the 7-day week, the moon is going through waning cycles and waxing cycles. Waxing cycles is when it's going towards being a full moon. Waning cycle is when it's going back to becoming a dark moon, which means new moon, no moon. And by the end of that, it takes about 4 weeks for the moon to go through its cycle. That's why some people thought that the moon represent the month. It's a stumbling block. So the sun and moon also work in harmony to mark out the passing of time, where the sun allocates different portions of its lights to the moon, making the moon an important guide for people traveling by sea or land to know how much time had elapsed by the phases of the moon. From the dark moon phase through the waxing crescent moon phases marks 1 week. From the half moon phase waxing to the full moon phase marks 1 week. From the full moon phase waning to the half moon phase marks 1 week. That's 3 weeks so far. And from the waning crescent moon phase to the dark moon phase marks 1 week. That's the 4th week. Alright, so continuing on. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Salah. So the Most High knew that we would be using modern day time. So he spoke in accordance to these times. He spoke in a way that we can understand what time we're in. He didn't just say, oh, you know, New Year's on the first day of the first month, and not tell you what the first day and when the first month is at. He let us know. So he says in March 17th technically don't exist in our calendar, as you guys know. So technically March 17th is the first day and month of the year. The stumbling block is the Julian season calendar. Once we know the correct day in Shabbat, we no longer need to use modern day calendars. The most complicating part is understanding the different types of calendars and jumping back and forth on it to explain the real one. So right here in Mark chapter 16 verse 9. Now, when Yis-RoyAl was risen early, the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils. So, as you can tell, Christ rose up on the first day of the week, Sabbath night. So you do know the day begins at sundown, right? And not sunrise, right? Christ rose on Saturday night, Sabbath night, aka Sunday, the first day of the week. Not according to what mainstream calls Sunday, but according to our Hebraic 7-day cycle weeks. Saturday sundown is technically Sunday, the first day of the week. By the time the sun goes up, the day is almost over. By the time the sun goes down, we are in the next day. Do you peep me on this, in Akawat? I cannot explain it any clearer than that. This stuff twists minds. Because them heathens jacked our people up and switched up the time. So Kadash means new month. It means month. Months, not moon. Moons. So moon is lunar calendars. They're pagan and full of Jezebel, which mean not exalted. So Kadash means new month, and they malinterpreted it in English. They put it as new moon when it's Kadash. Chaadash. Chaadash. So Noah's sacrifice, God's covenant with him. Now this is in the book of Jubilees, which is chapter 5 verse 1, or chapter 6. So it's called instructions to Moses about eating of blood, the feast of weeks, etc., and division of the year. So it says right here, the book of Jubilees, Yis-RoyAl, verse 1. And on the new moon of on the new month, pardon me, because they stuck moon there again. On the new month of the 3rd month, which is in March, he went forth from the ark, like march, he went forth from the ark, and built an altar on that mountain. And he made atonement for the earth, and took a kid and made atonement by its blood for all the guilt of the earth. Page 61, Book of Jubilees. For everything that had been on it had been destroyed, save those that were in the ark with Noah. And he placed the fat thereof on the altar, and he took an ox and a goat, and a sheep and kids, and salt, and a turtle dove, and the young of a dove, and placed the burnt sacrifice on the altar. This is what he was doing on Passover time. And poured thereon an offering mingled with oil, and sprinkled wine, which was like blood, and stewed frankincense over everything, and caused the goodly savour to arise, acceptable before Yahweh. And Yahweh smelt the goodly savour, and he made a covenant with him that there should not be any more a flood to destroy the earth, that all the days of the earth's seed time and harvest shall never cease. Cold and heat and summer and winter, and day and night should not change their order, nor cease forever. So the time when they got out of the ark was around Passover. Or at least it all came around Passover. And you increase ye and multiply upon the earth, and become many upon it, and be a blessing upon it. The fear of you and the dread of you I shall inspire in everything that is on earth and in the sea. And behold, I have given unto you all beasts and all winged things, and everything that moveth on the earth, and the fish in the waters, and all things for food, as the green herbs. I have given you all things to eat, but flesh, with the life thereof, with the blood, ye shall not eat. For the life of all flesh is in the blood. For the life of all flesh is in the blood. The blood is the life of all flesh. Lest your blood of your lives be required. At the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast, shall I require the blood of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood by man, shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Allah Hayom made he man, which means you're killing God when you kill man. And you increase ye, and multiply on the earth. And Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he made a covenant before Yahweh Alahayom forever, throughout all the generations of the earth in this month, which was during that time they made that covenant in Passover. And Shem, Japheth, and Ham entered this covenant, which was also impregnated with blessings and curses, you see. So in this account he spake to thee, that thou should make a covenant with the children of Yis-RoyAl in this month upon the mountain with an oath. With an oath. And that thou should sprinkle blood upon them, because this represents the blood of Christ. Because of all the words of the covenant which Yahweh made with them forever. And this testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat on any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during the days of the earth. And the man who eateth the blood of beasts or of cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. And do thou command the children of Yis-RoyAl to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before, in front of Yahweh Alahayam continually. And for this law there is no limit of days, for it is forever, 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 forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, 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 so that they may continue, supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. So every day and at the time of morning and evening, they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before Yahweh, that they may keep it and not be rooted out. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not again be a flood on the earth. He set his bow, the rainbow, in the cloud for a sign of the eternal covenant, that there should not again be a flood on the earth to destroy it all the days of the earth. For this reason it is ordained and written on the heavenly tables in the sky, that they should celebrate the feast. Page 63. They should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year, to renew the covenant every year. So the Feast of Weeks, which is the Feast of Unleavened Bread and First Fruit, unless this is the Feast of Pentecost. But look it up. This is the Feast of Weeks. And this month once a year, to renew the covenant every year. And this whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation to the days of Noah, 26 jubilees and 5 weeks of years. So that means 26 times 50 plus 5. And Noah and his sons observed it for 7 jubilees and 1 week of years. 7 jubilees will be 50 times 7 plus 1 year. Till the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. So they ate blood until Abraham came and corrected them again. Because Japheth and Ham started to fall off, and some of Shem started to kind of fall off too, until Abraham had came, which became the father of all the nations on the earth. And right here they say that was in 1309 or in 1659 AM, which means Anu Mondi, which means since the beginning of time. AM means since the beginning of time. So it said through 1309 through 1659 AM, since the beginning of time, calculating it from the Jubilees. So, but Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Jacob and his children observed it up to thy days, up until they died. Now we got to remember it again. And in thy days the children of Yis-RoyAl forgot it until ye celebrated anew on this mountain. On this mountain new. Reminds me of the land of mountains, IET. And do thou command the children of Yis-RoyAl to observe this festival in all their generations for a commandment unto them. 1 day in the year in this month they shall celebrate the festival. For it is the Feast of Weeks and the Feast of First Fruits. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, because on that day is also the Passover, the unleavened bread, Feast of First Fruit, and all that stuff. So according to what is written and engraven concerning it, celebrate it. For I have written in the book of the first law, the Old Testament, and that which I have written for thee, that thou shouldst celebrate it in its season. 1 day, 1 day in the year. And I explained it to thee, its sacrifices, that the children of Yis-RoyAl should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, 1 day in every year. And on the new month of the first month, and on the new month of the 4th month, page 64, and on the new month of the 7th month, and on the new month of the 10th month are the days of remembrance. Because those are the 4 seasons. Season changes. So in the days of the seasons in the 4 divisions of the year, these are written and ordained as a testimony forever. And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. And on the new moon of the first month, on the new month of the first month, which is in March, and on that day the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new month of the fourth month, the mouths of the depths of the abysses beneath were closed. And on the new month of the seventh month, which is coming in 2 days, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were open, so it can swallow the waters. And the waters began to descend into them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noe was glad. And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tables. Each had 13 weeks. From one to another passed their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days. And these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tables, page 65 of the book of Jubilees. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. And command thou the children of Yis-RoyAl that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days. And these will constitute a complete year. And they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony. And they will not leave out any day, nor disturb any feast. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislogged from their disorder, and they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislogged, and they will neglect their ordinances, and all the children of Yis-RoyAl will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new months and the seasons and Sabbaths, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years. For I know, and from henceforth shall I declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lieth written before me. And on the heavenly tables the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feast of the covenant, and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles, after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, Jezebel. Now it disturbeth the seasons, and cometh in from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order, and make an abominable day the day of testimony, page 66, and an unclean day a feast day. And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean day with the holy, like the food you eat on that day. For they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to thee, that thou mayest testify to them. For after thy death thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason they will go wrong as to the new months, and seasons, and Sabbaths, and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. So that was in the book of Jubilees. That was powerful. And that happened in the third month, in the new month of the first month. So now we're going to get into some history now about what we did on those days and what happened. So now the defeat of the Amalekites, which are the fake Jews, the Amalekites, Ashkenazi Jews, descendants of Japheth and Esau, Imalakai. So in Exodus chapter 17 verse 8, then came Amalek, and fought with Yis-RoyAl, Israel, and Rephidim. So this fight happened in Rephidim. And Masha, Moses, said unto Yahushai, Joshua, choose us out men, and go out, fight with Amalek, with Imalak. tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hills with the rod of God, Alahayam, in my hand. So Moses was going to go on top of the hill with the rod of Alahayam in his hand, like Alahayam told him to. So Yahweh did as Masha had said to him, and fought with Amalek. And Masha, Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Masha held up his hand, that Yis-RoyAl prevailed. When he held the rod up, Israel was beating Amalek, the fake Jews. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Masha's hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands. They lifted up his hands, the one on the one side, and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun, until sunset, New Year's. And Joshua, Yahweh discomfited Amalek, and his people with the edge of the sword. And Yahweh said unto Masha, write this for a memorial and a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Yahweh, which is Yahshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of those fake Jews, Amalek, from under heaven. And Masha built an altar and called the name of it Yahweh Naz. Unfortunately, in modern day Hebrew and English, they call it Jehovah Nissi. And it's really Yahweh Naz. Naz means banner. And Yahweh means He exists, is my banner. So Yahweh Naz. For he said, because Yahweh Ahaya hath sworn that Yahweh Ahaya will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So Moses built an altar and called the name Yahweh Naz. So in Zephaniah chapter 3 verse, by the way, you can also look for some of this stuff in the pseudepigrapha. The pseudepigrapha. So in Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 9, for then will I turn to the people a pure language, Lashawan, Kwadash, that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent. We know that Kanawat calendar is determined by the sun and stars, and therefore the sun and stars must also determine the Sabbath years and Jubilee years. The Sabbath year begins every sixth year. So the Sabbath year begins every sixth year, like every seventh day. On the 10th day of the 7th month, which is coming up, the Day of Atonement, and the Jubilee year begins every 49th year, because it takes 50 years for a Jubilee to be a Jubilee. On the 10th day of the 7th month, and on this Day of Atonement, a proclamation of liberty is made to all the inhabitants of the earth. So on the 10th day of the 7th month, and on this Day of Atonement, of fasting, a proclamation of liberty is made to all the inhabitants of the earth. So now the binary star system, Sirius A and Sirius B, a double star, determines the Jubilee years. It takes Sirius B 50 years to orbit Sirius A. And the Sirius star system was watched carefully in ancient times by the Sumerians and the Egyptians. The Sumerians called Sirius the bow star because of its double helix or bow-shaped orbit. And the Egyptians and Greeks called it Sothis, Isis. That's what they worshipped. They are fools. So in Leviticus chapter 25 verse 9 through 13, the trumpet blast will sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. Which remind me, at the last trumpet, the dead shall rise, the 7 trumpets. So the trumpet blast will sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. On the day of atonement, the trumpets will sound throughout the earth to hallow the 50th year. So the 50th year of Jubilee is usually on the Day of Atonement. Which kind of reminds me of 50 weeks as well, but I may be wrong. But I know it says, to hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty to the inhabitants to the earth's inhabitants with trumpets. The men shall return to their inheritance, and the men shall return to their tribes. From trumpets in the 50th year you shall not sow nor reap, but what grows of itself shall be gathered. Consecrate it with trumpets, for it is Quadash, holy. And eat what the field produces. In the year of trumpets, the men shall return to their inheritance. So now in Leviticus chapter 27, verse 17 through 18. Sanctify the field in the year of trumpets, and let the price be established for redemption. Sanctify the field after trumpets, and the priest shall calculate the price according to the years behind the year of trumpets, and shall not diminish the price. So in Leviticus chapter 25, verse 21 through 22, then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, on the 6th day, or in the 6th year. It shall make produce for 3 years, and you shall sow the 8th year, and eat of old produce unto the 9th year, which remind me of the 9th day. Until the produce comes in, you shall eat from the old storage. So that would probably mean day, 9th day. So then I will command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, the 6th day. And it shall make produce for 3 years, for 3 days. And you shall sow the 8th year, the 8th day, and eat of old produce until the 9th year, until the 9th day. Until the produce comes in, you shall eat from the old storage. Now that's going to need some more studying and digging into. That was in Leviticus chapter 25, verse 21 through 22. So in the second book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 29, there will be a sign, and you shall eat in this year what grows of itself. And in the 2nd year, the 2nd day, that which sprouts of itself. And in the 3rd year, the 3rd day, you shall sow and reap, and plant vineyards, and eat their fruits. That's what we're supposed to be doing. In Isaiah chapter 37, verse 30. There will be a sign, and you shall eat in this year what grows of itself, and in the 2nd year that which sprouts of itself. And in the 3rd year you shall sow and reap and plant vineyards and eat their fruits. So in the book of Yis-RoyAl, which is Jubilees, chapter 50, verse 1 through 2, and after this law, I made known to thee the days of the Sabbaths, Shabbats, and the desert of Sinai. That's why I usually calculate the time on the Naval Observatory based on Mount Sinai. Either Mount Sinai or Jerusalem, which is between Elim and Sinai. And I told thee of the Sabbaths, Shabbats, of the land on Mount Sinai. So on Mount Sinai he gave us the dates and time. And I told thee of the Jubilee years and the Sabbaths of years. But the year thereof have I not told thee till ye enter the land which ye are to possess. So in the book of Enoch, chapter 74, verse 12, of Kanawak, and the sun and the stars bring in all the years Exactly. So that they do not advance or delay their position by a single day or two unto eternity, but complete the years with perfect justice, 364 days. Every book, everything saying this. The only thing saying different is the heathen and the Gentiles, and those who are used to the heathen and the Gentiles timing. Jubilees, Yawabal, chapter 2, verse 9 through 10. And Allah Hayam appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, and for Shabbats, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for Shabbats of years, and for jubilees, and for all seasons of the years. The Most High appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, for Sabbaths, for months, for feasts, for years, and for Sabbaths of years, and for jubilees, and for all seasons of the years. The sun is appointed as a great sign, not the moon. In the book of Jubilees, chapter 4, verse 17 through 19. And she bare him a son in the 5th day, in the 5th week, week would mean day, in the 5th week, in the 5th day, in the 4th year of the Jubilee. Pardon me, year means day. Week can mean year, but this one he's probably talking about the 5th week, as in 7-day week. So, and she bare him a son in the 5th week, in the 4th year, in the 4th day of the Jubilee. And he called his name Enoch, Kanawat. And he was the first among men that are born on earth, who learnt writing and knowledge and wisdom, and who wrote down the signs of heaven according to the order of their months in a book, that men might know the seasons of the years according to the order of their separate months. And he was the first to write a testimony, and he testified to the sons of men among the generations of the earth, and recounted the weeks of the jubilees, and made known to them the days of the years, and set in order the months, and recounted the Sabbaths of the years, as we made them known to him, the angels. And what was made, and what was, and what will be, he saw in a vision of his sleep. He was meditating, or something with his eye closed, something spiritual. As it will happen to the children of men throughout their generations, until the day of judgment, judgment day, until that great day of vengeance. He saw and understood everything, and wrote his testimony, and placed the testimony on earth for all the children of men and for these generations. This is exactly why I come to you today. This is exactly the reason why I come to you today. All praise to the Most High. The book of Jubilees, chapter 4, verse 21. And he was moreover with the angels of God these 6 jubilees of years. So he was moreover with the messengers, the angels of Allah Hayam, because the angels are part of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and Christ is their king, or their prince, while the Father is the king. These 6 jubilees of years, 6 times 50. And they showed him everything which is on earth and in the heavens, the rule of the sun, and he wrote down everything. So now in Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 12, neither shalt thou set thee up any image, which Yahweh, Ahaya, Allah Hayam, hated. All these pictures right here, although I'm using them to like prove a point, they're considered images. Even tattoos or pictures of yourself or mirrors, all of that is considered a graven image. So be careful how you look upon it and how much energy you put in it. So in the book of Enoch, chapter 80, verse 4, and the moon shall alter her order and not appear at her time, In the book of Enoch, hold on, let me see something. So, alright, in the book of Enoch, in 2 months the moon sets with the sun, and in those two middle portals, the third and the fourth. The third and the fourth. So now let me show you a little example now of those, the portals right here. You know that March 16 is the new year this year, so always bring it back one day. So the fourth portal is at New Year. The fifth portal is in the next month, which would be 30 days. 30 days. 30, 31. 30, 30, 31. And there's 3 semesters of spring, 3 semesters of summer, 3 semesters of autumn, and 3 semesters of winter. You see? So 30 days when fourth portal. What other time are we in the fourth portal? On the 31st day of August. So let's see the pattern of it. Let's try to get the pattern and the gist of how we get from one portal to another. And is there a consistent pattern from the fourth portal back to the fourth portal? So the fourth portal is considered the first portal. So the fifth portal is in the next month, 30 days. The sixth portal is on the 36th day. So what did it say here again? Hold on one second, y'all. So in 2 months, the moon sets with the sun in those 2 middle portals. The third, where's the third? Alright, the third portal is right here, or actually right here. Right here at the end of February. The third portal and the fourth portal. So that's in 2 months the moon sets with the sun. So in between that, which will be March 16th. So 4, 5, 6, and then you go back to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. That's how the portals go. Once again, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. And in 2 months the moon sets with the sun in those 2 middle portals, the third and the fourth. So if you want to sit there and look at that real quick, you can be my guest. Go right ahead. So alright, to conclude, we have 4 seasons consisting of 91 days total. 3 months of 30 days with an additional day added to the end of the third month, being the 91st day. As you can see, 31st, 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 30, 30, 91, 30, 30, 91, 30, 30, 91, 30, 30, 91. Alright. So now we're going to continue on. Hold on one second. So, which is a Sabbath indicating a new season. This always falls on the Sabbath. The 31st portal always falls on the Sabbath. Which is a Sabbath indicating a new season is on the rise, starting that first day of the week. So now as we continue on, we're about to get now into the calendar. This is what I've been wanting to show y'all, and this will nearly conclude everything I want to show y'all today. It's 617. All praise to the Most High. That's my Boston area code in the birthday of this flesh, 6/17/88. But alright, here we are right here. So the 7th-day Sabbath begins on Friday night sundown, ending Saturday night sundown. This time frame completes a full day according to the Bible. Now if you want to take note, or if you want me to send you a copy of this, email me at godlivesinourheart@hotmail.com, or contact me on Skype right now under Archangel Macintosh. You can download Skype off of Yahoo or Google, and we can communicate from there, because there's a lot more stuff I won't be able to fit into this video. I'm trying to make it as convenient for people as I can, because other people don't have that much time as I do. So holy days for current year 2014 to 2015. So sundown means nightfall, or when it gets dark. Evening, the latter part of the day, the later part of the day. So March 15th, 2014 sundown is our New Year's night. As long as you remember that, you can calculate everything else now. Just look up the feasts and the festivals and all that in our book. March 16, 2014 sunrise. So on New Year's Day, March 28th, 2014 sundown. Passover night, March 29th, 2014 sunrise. So Passover day, March 29th, 2014 sundown. Because you got to be able to count 14 days, 14 days from New Year's. So this is how it would be. Check this out. So right here, New Year's, where we at? The 15th, New Year's. So now we count 14 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There goes Passover. And then 14. There we go right there. So this right here would be Passover. So this day right here, the 14th day of the 3rd month, represents the New Year. And Christ died on the 14th day of that New Year. So that would be 14 right here. Passover was on March 29th this year. Actually March 28th. And then the Feast of Unleavened Bread began, which also represents the Feast of First Fruit, because Christ's body was offered to the Most High as a sweet savor. And from there we have the Feast of Unleavened Bread for 7 days, which represents the flesh of Christ, you see? So this would be the second Passover. There's like 2 Passovers and stuff. But I would definitely do some more research on that if I was you. Let's check out in the month of April. Alright, so Feast Unleavened Bread ends. Yeah, so there is 2 Passovers. They say it in the script too. So the first Passover would be us passing over from Egypt, which is on the 14th day of this week right here, or the second week here. So that would be March 15th for 2014. But then there's a second Passover, which is the one of Christ's death, and that's on the 14th day, which is right here, around this area. And then unleavened bread, which makes it a dual festival, fall on that same day, the first day of unleavened bread. And then it continues on and continues on into the next month. You see? So alright, let's go ahead and continue. So night feast of unleavened bread, unleavened, begins. So on March 29th, right here, Feast of Unleavened Bread begins. Pardon me. And it lasts for 7 days, ending at sundown at nighttime of April 5th, 2014. By next year, it'll probably be the 4th of April, 2014. To April 5th sundown. So night of waving of sheaves, April 6th, sunrise. So the night of waving of sheaves, or the waving of bread, April 6th, sunrise. So let's go to that and check that out real quick. So I want you guys to be able to keep up. And here we go. April 6th, right here. Which also represents this right here. They didn't put that feast in their calendar though. But that would fall right here, between Sabbath and this day right here. And it's on April 6th, sunrise. And it's called the Day of Waving of Sheaves. And, whatchamacallit, May 24th, 2014, sundown, May 24th, is, at nighttime, is the first fruits, Pentecost, which would represent 50 weeks, 50 Sabbaths since the New Year. So that would, you guys gotta really look into this. I'm gonna make another video specifically about the feast. Right now I'm giving y'all like some examples. So on March 25th, 2014, the day of first fruits, which is Pentecost. You see? So let's see if they got it right here on their calendar, which will be next month. Alright, they obviously don't have it on this calendar too. That's why I say these guys are spreading half truth. I don't know what they're doing. But on May 25th, let's start over. So the day of waving of sheaves begin May 24th, sundown. Next will be May 23rd. So a first fruits Pentecost. So it's the waving of sheaves, first fruit Pentecost. On May 25th, 2014, Day of First Fruits, Pentecost. So September 13th, 2004, sundown, Night of Blowing of the Trumpets, which is coming up right now. So beyond September 13th at sundown, Night of Blowing of the Trumpets. September 14th, 2014, sunrise, is the Day of Blowing of Trumpets. It's all one. But now on September, I'm going to have to organize this a little bit better, pardon me. So from September 22nd to 2014 sundown, and by the way, they forgot to put the feast, which is on the 10th of the 7th month, September 23, which is the 10th day of the 7th month according to our time. But this is what they put right here. Okay, so they did right here. They put it according to the Gregorian, normal time. I mean the Julian season time. So September 22nd, 2014, sundown is Night of Atonement. And to September 23rd, 2014, sunrise, the Day of Atonement is about to end. So on September 27th, 2014, sundown, Night of Feast of Tabernacles. This is all in September. Feast of Booths. That's what they call it, Tabernacle. Now on September 28th, 2014, the next day sunrise, is day 1 of the Feast of Tabernacles, or the Feast of Booths, which lasts for 7 days and ends October 4th, 2014, sundown at the end of day 7. So the Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Booths, October 5th, 2014, sunrise, is the 8th day Sabbath feast mentioned in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 39. So in December 6, 2014, sundown, night, it is called the night of the Feast of Dedication. December 7th, all the way to December 7th, 2014, sunrise, is day 1 of Feast of Dedication. And that itself lasts for 7 days, ending on December 13th, sundown. followed by a solemn assembly held on the 8th day. And now we'll go into detail about that, in a different video. So in December 14th, sunrise. Pardon me. So, followed by a solemn assembly held on the 8th day, which is on December 14th, sunrise. So on February 24th, 2015, sundown, night 1 of Purim. February 25th, sunrise, which is the next day, day 1 of Purim. Because sundown is night, sunrise is day. So it's day 1 of Purim, February 25th, sundown. All the way till February 25th, sundown. Night 2 of Purim, February 26th, sunrise, day 2 of Purim. So in March 14th, 2015, sundown, New Year's night. March 15th, 2015, sunrise, New Year's Day. Pardon me, I had to fix that up. So these were the holy days for let me see. That was the holy days for 2014 all the way through 2015. Now right here in 2015, which is coming up, you can go ahead and write it down. And we're going to continue on. So precepts pertaining to holy days, Passover. In the King James Version, Leviticus chapter 23, verse 5. And the 14th day of the first month at evening is Yahweh's Passover. So Feast of Unleavened Bread, Leviticus chapter 23, verse 6. And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread unto Yahweh. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread, because it represents the flesh of Christ, the body of Christ. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 6. Verse 7. And the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, because it's a Sabbath. Leviticus 23, verse 8. But ye shall offer an offering made by the fire unto Yahweh 7 days, to burn away all your stress, burn away all your sins, and it must be a free will offering. And the 7th day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. So now the Feast of Pentecost, which they also call the Feast of Weeks, 52 weeks. First fruits. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 10. Speak unto the children of Yis-RoyAl, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priests, which will be from the fruits and vegetables you were commanded to grow in your backyard. So in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 11, and he shall wave the sheaf, he's going to wave the fruits in the leaves, before Yahweh, to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. Because on that day, that Feast of Week is actually going to be a Sabbath. 52nd week. Or, I believe it's, 50 weeks. Okay. No, 50 weeks or 50 days. We'll run into it. You'll see what I'm saying. So the Feast of Sheaf, the wave of sheaf, is this feast. And he says in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 15, and ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. 7 Sabbaths. So that 7th, by the time we reach 7 Sabbaths, that would be the Feast of Weeks. Right now, we're talking about the Feast of First Fruit. And we also now we're going into the Feast of Pentecost after we finish up the 7 Sabbaths shall be complete, which will be the Feast of Weeks. So in Leviticus chapter 23 verse 16, even unto the morrow, after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days. So it should be 50 days, which equals 7 Sabbaths. And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto Yahweh. So in Leviticus chapter 23 verse 17, ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2/10 deals, which is the measurement of your ephod. They shall be of fine flour, unleavened. They shall be baken. Okay, actually, this will be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto Yahweh. So those with leaven in it is going to be burnt in the fire. It shall be for him, which means you're not going to eat that. If you give me something, will you be eating it and taking it? No. Whatever you give to the Most High, mean it goes to the Most High. So the blowing of the trumpets may be mentioned as feasts of new months. So in Leviticus chapter 23 verse 24, speak unto the children of Yis-RoyAl, saying, in the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Shabbat, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation, day of atonement. In Leviticus 23 verse 27, also, on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be in holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, which means don't eat. Not really not eat, but stay away from sin. Refrain from addictions and stay away from all that. It's really a day of not eating. That's what he means by affliction, of fasting. But it's also a spiritual fasting, a spiritual chastisement, you see? So, it shall be in holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire. You're burning away sin again. Unto the Most High Yahweh. And if you're going to be cooking anything, you better cook it before that date, and before the sun sets before that date. You see, because when sun set and you start cooking stuff and doing stuff, you're actually transgressing the law. You're sinning. Regardless if you still remember the date. You got to do everything before the Sabbath day or you're done. So in Leviticus chapter 23 verse 32, it shall be unto you a Shabbat of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls. And the 9th day of the month at evening, from evening unto evening, shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. That reminds me of the feast of the Sabbaths, the yearly Sabbaths. But I'm not sure. So the Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Booths, Feast of Ingathering, that's what people call it. Leviticus chapter 23 verse 34. Speak unto the children of Yis-RoyAl, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto the Most High. In Leviticus chapter 23 verse 36, 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein. In Leviticus chapter 20, it's like a day of boycott. In Leviticus chapter 23, verse 39. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land in gathering, ye shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. 7 days in the booths, Feast of Booths. On the 1st day shall be a Shabbat, and on the 8th day shall be a Shabbat, a rest. That's what that means. So the Feast of Lights, Feast of Dedication. In the 2nd book of Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 8. Also at the same time Solomon kept the feast 7 days. and all Yis-RoyAl with him, a very great congregation from the entering of Hamath unto the river of Egypt. The second book of Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 9. And in the 8th day they made in a solemn assembly, for they kept the dedication of the altar 7 days, and the feast 7 days. So they kept the dedication of the altar 7 days, and the feast 7 days. And the 8th day they made a solemn assembly, from the entering in of Hamath unto the river of Egypt. So in the second book of Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 10. And on the 23rd day, on the 23rd day of the 7th month, according to our calendar, he sent the people away into their tents, glad and merry in heart, for the goodness that the Most High had showed unto David and to Solomon and to Yis-RoyAl his people. Ezra chapter 10 verse 9. Then all the men of Yehoiada, Judah, and Benjamin, Benjamin, gathered themselves together unto Jerusalem, dedication, within 3 days. It was the 9th month, on the 20th day of the 9th month. And all the people sat in the street of the house of Allahayam, trembling because of this matter, and for the great rain. So, in the first book of Maccabees, which is in the King James Version Apocrypha, chapter 4, verse 52, now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of Kaslu, and the 148th year, and the 148th year, divide that by 50. You know how much jubilees that is. They rose up betimes in the morning, and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they had made, like a barbecue grill, or altar. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, even in that was it dedicated with songs and citharins and harps and cymbals, which means it's a day of celebration on the 25th day of the 9th month. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising Allahayam Rawak, the God of heaven, who had given them good success. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offerings with gladness for 8 days, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. So deliverance and praise was a sacrifice. Gladness and peace was a sacrifice. Dedication was a sacrifice. It's a bloodless sacrifice, a spiritual one. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates in the chambers they renewed, and hanged doors upon them. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Yis-RoyAl ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year by the space of 8 days. From the 25th day of the month Kaslu, that's what they called it, with mirth and gladness. So now the feast of Purim in Esther chapter 9 verse 17. On the 13th day of the month of Adar, which is the last month of our year, and on the 14th day of the same rested day. So on the 14th day, so on the 13th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. In Esther chapter 9 verse 18. But the Jews, the Hebrews that were at Shushan, assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same month they rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. In Esther chapter 9 verse 19. Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another, like they do on Christmas time. Esther chapter 9 verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far. In Esther chapter 9 verse 21. To establish this among men, among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly. So Adar, it means glorious. It's the 12th month, corresponding to modern, actually February and March. So the 7th day Sabbath, 6 days shall work be done. Pardon me, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest. So that's the 7-day Sabbath. In holy convocation, when we're gathered together in the name of the Most High, you shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath, the rest of Yahweh in all your dwellings. Blessings, fams, all praises to Yahweh, Ahaya, through Yis-RoyAl. Amen. So, alright, before we continue on, if you want a copy of that once again, just let me know. And, you know, this page right here also gives you, you know, a good description of how it looks like. So Passover 1, Passover 2. Feast of Weeks, 49 days. Feast of First Fruit, 50th day. Yeah, and you can just go through this. Trumpets, Day of Atonement, Boots, the 8th day edition. And then we go into winter. And in winter, we barely have any feasts during that time. But I will look that up though. I will make a video about that itself. Alright, now we're about to wrap it up for today. There's going to be a third part to this video. And the third part now, I'm going to share with you guys. Let me see where we at in minutes and time. Alright, in the third part, I'm going to share with you guys the history now of what happened on those days, so you can get a feeling of what to do on those days. You know what I'm saying? We'll go into detail then. Man, other than that, man, I hope you guys enjoy this right now, man. All praises to the Most High through His Son Yis-RoyAl and the Holy Spirit Rawat Kakwadash. May the holy angels of Allah Hayam assist us and be with us through the command of Christ Yis-RoyAl and the command of the Father Yahweh. May we continue to receive the truth and the revelations of the days and times we're in. May we continue to unite and overcome the hatred and overcome the anger and the frustration and the confusion. Together we stand, y'all. Divided we fall. Let's unite in the Most High. Hallelujah. Amen. Barakatah.